Good morning, Ultimate Hustlers and Digital Empire Builders. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show, and today we got another fire show lined up for you. We're wrapping up our series on leadership, and we're talking about commitment and responsibility as a leader. How do you exemplify it before your followers and your subordinates? And then how do you solicit it from them at the highest levels? That's what we're talking about today. It's going down. So do me a huge favor. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand. Smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. And let's kick it this morning. Yo, what's up, Ultimate Hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite SaaSpreneur, coming to you live and direct from the Automated Leads Machine Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you are a service-based business and you are struggling with leads, you don't have enough people to present your offers to, let us help you do that. Our artificial intelligence will find the right qualified leads for you, start those conversations with those folks, get them booked on your calendar. So all you got to do is come in and close the deal. How's that sound? Go to blackbeardsuccess.com/leads to get all of the details there, or hit your boy up in the inbox. Today, we're continuing our series. We're wrapping up our series on the 5 pillars of leadership. And the last pillar is commitment and responsibility. How do you exhibit it as a leader? How do you solicit it from your followers, right? We're getting all the way up in that today. I'm going to round this thing out because it is super important that more of us get into the space of leadership. And even if you don't feel like you're a leader in the organization that you represent, listen, everybody's a leader. You got to lead your family. First and foremost, you got to lead yourself, right? There's opportunities for leadership in our communities that we want to see be better, right? So everybody should be studying leadership, not just us entrepreneurs and hustlers of the world. A couple quick announcements, and we're going to get the show underway. Office hours. If you already have the Black Beard Success app, you are subscribed to the Black Beard Success app. Office hours are going down this Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Got some cool new features of the tool to show you guys. And also, we now have business credit training right inside of your dashboard. That's right. When you log into your account on the Black Beard Success app, all you got to do is look down at the lower left and you're going to see business credit training right there. Everything that you need to know about building and establishing and maintaining business credit is right there. And then, of course, if you need help with that, we have some business credit services that we can tie you to as well. So make sure you guys go and check that out. And then last but not least, man, do not forget to, if you're in a business and you're looking for a community to be a part of, to get some additional support, especially around online marketing and increasing your digital footprint on the internet, then check out Local Biz Marketing Mastermind. The link is in the comments and in the show notes. We are always looking for dope entrepreneurs to come hang out with us and help each other continue to grow our respective brands. So that is my announcements for today. You guys ready to get this show started? If you are, then drop a 1 in the comments, because here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know how we do. Every episode of the Cortez Hustle Show, we start the show with a quote of the day. And I heard my girl, Michelle A., co-host of the St. Louis Hustle Podcast, drop this gem the other day, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. She said, change, my friends, is inevitable. Growth, however, is optional. Ooh, that punched me in the gut right there. Change, my friend, is inevitable. Growth is optional, right? Just because you are moving, it doesn't mean you're making progress, right? You got to really be intentional about making sure that the changes is creating the outcome and the results that you want, right? Change is going to happen. You're going to get older. You're going to get wrinkled up. I was talking to one of my clients the other day. He was like, bro, you dyeing your beard? I don't see any gray in your beard. I was like, no, it's coming, bro. It just ain't here yet, but it's coming, right? Change is inevitable. What are you doing to make sure that the changes that you are pursuing are going to get you the results that you want? I promise you, if you are that type of person that is sitting back, waiting on things to happen, and you're not being intentional, you're going to look up in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and chances are you're not going to like where you end up. You have to be deliberate and intentional to make sure that you land in the place that you want to be. So don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, be intentional about what it is that you want to do, what you want to have. Surround yourself with good people, and be a good person that someone wants to surround themselves with. That's important. I think sometimes we want to be around millionaires and billionaires and successful people, but we forget that in order for us to attract those people into our lives, in order for those people to be attracted to us, we have to be someone that is going places, someone is doing something positive. We have to be transmitting the right energy ourselves. So focus on doing that for yourself, and then it's going to be easier for you to get into those circles of the right people. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by Automated Leads Machine. It is our artificial intelligence, meet the AI assistant that helps scale your cold outreach campaigns faster, cheaper, and easier. That's right. We will identify the perfect qualified leads for you that's laser targeted for your business. We'll start the outreach, start those conversations, put your offer in front of them, and then as they start to respond and engage, we'll notify you so that you can then hop on the phone, hop on a Zoom call, or however your sales process goes, and close them into your business. That's the Automated Leads Machine. I'm having so much fun with it as I deployed it in my own business, and I'm literally reaching out to hundreds of people every week now because I have this system in place. So if you need a system to constantly bring you leads, then you guys got to check out the Automated Leads Machine. So we were wrapping up this book on the 5 pillars of leadership. Not going to do a whole lot of recap, but I think I can just easily go and find those 5 pillars. So what are the 5 pillars? We first started out talking about what effective leadership is. We talked about the three foundational elements of leadership, right? And then we start talking about the five pillars themselves. What are the five pillars? Pillar number one is crystallized thinking, right? As a leader, it is your responsibility to crystallize your thinking, to paint the vision, make it plain and easier for your followers to understand and grasp. Pillar number two, plans and balance. Once you crystallize your thinking and you know where you want to go, then you got to plan how you're going to get there. And you got to make sure that you're balanced in all six areas of your life. Pillar number three, passion and desire. I don't care what you're doing and where you want to go. You're not getting there before without any passion and desire. Pillar number four, we talked about confidence and trust, developing that within yourself as the leader, but also developing that within those that you are responsible for leading. Now, pillar number five is commitment and responsibility. I was sharing with my sons just the other day, when you break down the word responsibility, you can break it down into respondability, right? I teach my sons that the number one thing that a man has to be is responsible, right? Responsibility equals respondability. What is your ability to respond? And if you're constantly growing, you're constantly getting better, you're constantly stretching yourself, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, getting outside of your comfort zone, when things crop up in your life, you'll be more versatile with your ability to respond. Here's a simple formula that can eliminate 90% of all the failures you and your team members will ever experience. Y'all know what that formula is? Don't quit. That's the formula. Just don't quit. Quitting is the number one reason why people fail to reach a particular objective or to achieve a meaningful goal. Unfortunately, the individuals on your team who give up or quit trying are typically just as capable as you or anyone else is to succeed. They lack just a few important success attitudes that can actually be cultivated and acquired quickly and easily. Right? I'm trying to think about that. We judge quitters, we judge people who are not as successful as others. They're usually just missing one or two components. They just need some development in one or two areas. So before you throw in the towel on someone who is not quite there, see if you can help them develop those few little mindset and mental things. Intense desire cannot be created unless goals have been crystallized and clearly defined. So when you as the leader, one of the things that I love about Gary Vaynerchuk, I'm a big marketing guy, so I follow other marketing guys, and he's one of the greatest marketing minds of our time. And he's been on for the last 2, maybe 3 years, he's been really harping on self-awareness, right? And not allowing yourself to get into the place of blame, right? So if you are not moving the needle, the company is not growing, your organization is not getting to the next level, whatever you're trying to do and it's not happening, you've got to think about yourself. You got to look in the mirror first. I'm often thinking about as my company is really starting to take shape and starting to move in the right direction. When it's not, I always go back to myself. I must not be crystallizing my thinking. I must not be painting the vision clear enough. And without a clear vision, it's hard to make an actionable plan, right? So always look at yourself as the leader before you go pointing the finger at other people. And I think that will help you tremendously, right? Unfocused concentration does not make someone efficient in a number of different areas. Instead, it serves to add an element of mental confusion, right? So if you as the leader is not clear on where you're going, and let me say this, not only must you be clear, once you got that crystallized vision, you got to commit to it. Like it's taken me a minute to get my company where I want it to be. And part of the reason is because I changed directions 1,000 different times. Right? Now, sometimes that's good. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to make micro transitions and move and adjust the sail, but you can't be all over the place all the time, right? So once you get clear on, okay, digital marketing is the game. Okay, what am I going to be able to offer? Software that's going to focus on client acquisition and retention, right? Okay, great. What is the one product that I'm going to lead with that I know every small business needs? Oh, lead generation. If more small businesses had the ability to put their irresistible offer in front of the right people, they'll make more sales, they'll make more money. Okay, boom, I have that. So that's the commitment. Now I'm clear on who we are as a company, where we're going, our mission, our vision, our product, our service offerings. Now I've got to lay out the plan on step by step. This is how we operate. I got to lay out the procedures that this is how we run our lead generation system. This is how we run our sales calls and sales appointments. This is how we close those sales calls. This is how we onboard the people. This is how we continue to support them in the customer service journey, right? Like, it starts with getting clear and it ends with your commitment and your responsibility, right? In a way, modern technology has done us a disservice by teaching us to expect everything to be instantly available. Instant food, instant drinks, instant cash, instant credit, you name it, we want it instantly. Because we have become accustomed to instant gratification, many of us get upset if that pattern of immediate gratification changes. This is the core reason behind the willingness of many people, perhaps some of your own team members, to give up at the first sign of difficulty and delay. When things don't go our way right away, when we don't see the win immediately, what is our response? I want you to think about that, right? When things don't go your way immediately and you don't see the path to victory right after the tip off, right? I'm a basketball guy, right? We jump the tip, the other team scores first, and it's like, oh, we're going to lose. Wait a minute. It's a long game, man. It's a long game. We've all seen some of our favorite teams come back from being down big late in the game, and they make those transitions, those transformations, those transformative plays, and all of a sudden they're back on top, right? NFL just started a couple weeks ago, and we've already seen some massive comebacks, teams coming back from down 21 points in the fourth quarter, right? What is that key recipe for winning, for succeeding? Just don't quit. Just don't give up. We're going to talk about persistence real quick as we get into commitment and responsibilities. There's 4 elements of persistence: the desire to succeed and the commitment to reach significant goals combine to create persistence. Persistence makes the difference over time between winning and losing, between success and failure, and is comprised of these 4 key elements. Now, I'm going to get into these 4 key elements right after 1 minute motivation. If you're new to the Cortez Hustle Show, every episode we do a segment called 1 Minute Motivation. That's where we share a short motivational clip, usually 60 to 90 seconds or so. And I'm going to ask for you who are watching us live and able to comment your takeaways. I'm going to give you a couple takeaways. So let's get into some 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
You cannot let a fear of failure or a fear of comparison or a fear of judgment stop you from doing what's going to make you great. You cannot succeed without this risk of failure. You cannot have a voice without the risk of criticism. And you cannot love without the risk of loss. You must go out and you must take these risks.
You don't have the time to waste time, because time doesn't wait till you discover your purpose. If you don't know why you was born, time is still moving. And if you discover your purpose at 90 years old, it's too late.
You don't know how young you are. What if you die in 2 years? You're pretty old right now. You got 2 years left. And if you're 50 years old and you're feeling discouraged, well, remember the advice about planting a tree. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago or today? So if you're 50 and you feel like life left you behind, well, get started right now. Better late than never. Better late than never. Don't think about time and age so much. It gets people distracted. When the whole world's distracted, you be focused.
You have to trust your own voice, your own ideas, your honesty, your vulnerability, and through this you will find your way. You do not have to be fearless. Just don't let fear stop you. Live like this as best you can, and I guarantee you will look back on a life well lived.
Hoo-wee. You do not have to be fearless, ladies and gentlemen. You do not have to be fearless, right? But you do have to be courageous. What's the difference, Cortez? Isn't that the same thing? No. Fearlessness is a myth. There is no such thing as fearlessness. Everybody has fear. Everybody deals with fear. Those that are courageous, though, they have decided to move in spite of the fear. They've decided to get the job done and fight in spite of the fear. You think your firefighters aren't afraid? You think your military soldiers aren't afraid? Of course they are. But they are courageous. They are going to move in spite of that fear and get the job done. They're going to look back to their training and they're going to rely on that, and they're going to trust that, and they're going to trust themselves, but they're dealing with fear. They just have courage. That's what bravery is. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It is moving despite fear, right? Gotta trust yourself. Trust yourself. And the beautiful thing that I love about us as human beings is we're all one decision away from being something completely different, from being someone completely different. All we got to do is decide, y'all. All we got to do is decide. If you, for the last 50 years, had struggles with being honest, operating in integrity, guess what? You can decide today that you're no longer that person. And for the rest of your life, you can be a person of integrity. You can be a person that is trustworthy. Now, here's the key. You're not going to have the respect in this new life of yours of the people who knew you for the last 50 years as someone who wasn't trustworthy. As long as you know that you are making that commitment to change, that's important, right? When the whole world is distracted, you be focused, right? When the whole world is distracted, you be focused. There's nothing like focused energy, right? That's why crystallized thinking is so important, so that you can focus and get everybody on the right page, on the same page. You can't fear failure. You can't fear comparison. You can't fear judgment. I love the part about you can't have a voice without criticism. Anytime you stand up to say anything or to try to be a light in a world where darkness is celebrated, where darkness is put on a pedestal, there are going to always be those who have an opposing opinion. And unfortunately, those opposing opinions, those people seem to have the loudest voices, right? They seem to have the biggest platforms sometimes, right? But you cannot let that stop you. You cannot fear love because of the risk of loss, right? It's just not how it goes. There's always risk, and you need that risk. We live in a world, and the way God created this thing is that he created it with polarity, right? One thing cannot exist without the other thing, right? Have you ever seen a one-sided coin? No, it's impossible to have a one-sided anything, right? So you got to understand that that's the world that we live in. Your job is to choose the side that you want to be on. Your job is to choose how to interpret the emotions, right? I was reading Brendan Burchard's High Performance Habits, right? And he was kind of breaking down, not in a scientific way, but just on his perspective with emotions and feelings, right? He's like, emotions are the things that happen instinctively, right? So if someone cuts you off in traffic, your emotion might show up immediately to cause you to be angry and want to start using sign language in traffic, right? Right. That might be the emotion, right? But he said feelings is based on the meaning that you give to the emotion. And I thought that was so profound. Wait a minute, this guy cut me off and I'm upset. But what meaning do I want to give to this emotion right now? Right? Do you want to give the meaning to that emotion that's going to have that one moment ruin your entire day? Right? It's crazy when you really start to think about it. We could literally define the emotions that well up in us. And that definition will define and determine how we respond and how we react. That's some deep stuff, man. Some deep stuff. We are in way more control than what we give ourselves credit for, right? We are all just a decision away from being a completely different person. Don't fear failure. Don't fear judgment. Don't fear comparison. And when you do fear anything, understand that that's okay. Just don't let it stop you. That, my friends, is 1 minute motivation, right? A one-sided piece of toast. There's no such thing, Mark. There's no such thing as a one-sided anything. There's polarity. There's a duality. God created everything in that way for a reason. And it's our job to choose how we want to define those things that show up in our lives. That is 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by Local Biz Marketing Mastermind. It is our private Facebook group where we want to help you as a small local business optimize your online presence, increase your lead flow, grow your revenue, expand your operation, contribute more to the communities that you serve, because we understand it is better for that money to stay on Main Street than it is to go to Wall Street. But small business owners have to move and operate in a different way in order to win. And we talk about those different successes, those different things that we can do differently than the national brands and the big corporations that can make us relevant and give us a leg up in our communities. One of those things is to be okay with being small. Because we're small, we're nimble, we can make decisions, we can pivot faster. Like there's some benefits to being a cruise ship, right? But there's also some benefits to being a speedboat. We got to lean into what makes us who we are and maximize on that. So go to Local Biz Marketing Mastermind right here on Facebook and give us a try. We promise to provide a good, safe environment for you to hang out, ask questions, get the help, connect with other entrepreneurs that are in the same boat, doing the same thing with some of the same aspirations and goals that you have yourself. So let's continue down this path. We were talking about the 4 key elements of persistence, right? Element number 1, if you're going to be persistent, you're going to need raw determination, which is the refusal to give up, to quit, or to be defeated. Determination is a result of the confidence created by written and specific goals. Think about that. Where does your confidence come from? It comes from specific and written goals. Individuals who lack detailed understanding of where they want to go and why they want to go there will never feel secure about their goals because they have failed to fully crystallize their thinking. They never really know whether the goals they've chosen are correct. Armed with a clear, concise plan of action, effective leaders and team members feel secure enough to push ahead. And when you have those plans, a good plan always has contingency plans, right? Now, I don't want you to get a contingency plan confused with a plan B. Most successful people who are really, really successful at a high level never have a plan B. Y'all do know that, right? They do, however, have contingency plans. I'm going in this direction. I'm going to this specific place. However, if something gets in my way, I don't stop and I don't change the destination. I just have a contingency plan on how I'm going to deal with, get over, get under, get around, get through that obstacle that's in my way. The destination doesn't change though. Some people, when something gets in their way, they change their destination. Nope, I'm still building a multi-billion-dollar international media conglomerate. I just might have to go about it a different way, right? But the destination doesn't change. And I got this little gnat in my office, and he is trying to be a part of the show this morning. So element number 1, raw determination, right? Element number 2, patience to willingly keep at a job, task, or goal despite temporary setbacks and encroaching difficulties, right? Patience, y'all. For a long time, I didn't realize that patience was a superpower. I didn't realize that patience was a gift from God for me. I just thought everybody had patience like this. No, it's not the case, right? Mature people are usually willing to work now in exchange for a future reward. That is why many leaders and team members are able to work towards an important goal over a long period of time. They receive their present satisfaction, the mental reward and motivation that motivates them to keep on going through their anticipation of the actual reward that follows. In a very real sense, persistence requires patience, people. Do you have the patience to go through the junk? Do you have the mindset that sets you apart from everybody else that wants instant gratification? Right? This is 2022. I started this latest entrepreneurial journey in 2015. So we're wrapping up year number 7, going into year number 8, right? And still pushing, still pressing towards the mark, right? Do you have that kind of patience to keep going in spite of difficulties, to keep moving when things are not as clear, to keep pressing towards the mark when sometimes it seems like the mark itself is dodging you and moving, right? No goal, no matter how massive or minute, can be accomplished in reality before it has been accomplished mentally, right? Do you close your eyes and do you see yourself as the person you need to become in order to execute the game plan you need to execute to have what you need to have? You have to see yourself as the person you need to become. And you have to strive to become a better version of yourself, right? So that you can execute on the things you need to execute on. Element number 3, we're talking about 4 elements of persistence. Number 3, a justifiable sense of pride for using more of your full potential for success. One of my favorite reasons that I feel everyone should give entrepreneurship a try. One of my favorite reasons, 3 reasons I believe that everybody should try entrepreneurship. Number 1, I believe that it's time to show our children something different, right? Our children are kind of starting to question this entire system of existence, right? And instead of us leaning into our children and supporting them, and you're right, maybe college isn't for you. Maybe working a job 50 years isn't for you. You got a different sense of something. We're trying to push them back into that box. No, get you a good job, get you a secure job, get your job with benefits, like focus on that. Like, no, maybe, just maybe, we should support them, right? I had an interview with a young lady, and she said, when I was 14 years old, 13, 14 years old, getting ready to go into high school, my sister and I started an online boutique, and my mom bought us everything we needed, got the website done, got all of our inventory, and we rocked out, right? Just a few short years later, that same young lady now has a daycare and 2 coffee shops, and she's just 24 years old. You think it had something to do with the fact that her mom went all in with her in her first business endeavor, that now she's got 2 coffee shops and a daycare center? I'm just saying, maybe we ought to lean into where our kids are. So number 1, we need to show our kids something different. The second reason, and it's alluded to here, is there's nothing like the sense of pride and fulfillment that comes with making your own way. There's nothing like it, right? And I think one of the reasons that it is so easy for the masses to be controlled by the few is because we've put ourselves into these boxes, and there is no sense of pride in what we are and our dreams and our goals and our aspirations. We put all of that stuff on hold to go out and make a dollar so that we can live. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a job, but a lot of times we have sold out our dreams for a job to pay some bills in the right now. And as a result, there's very little pride in getting up and going to a job that we don't like. There's very little fulfillment in getting up, going to listen to a boss that we are smarter than. right? Listen to a boss that takes credit for all of our hard work, right? Like there's no fulfillment in that. And I think because of that, a lot of people are dying on the inside, right? A lot of people are dying on the inside. Entrepreneurship is something that fires me up. It gets it like it's the chase, right? Right. Yes, the lion needs to eat, but nothing moves them like the thrill of the hunt. And I think if more people experience that, right? What was the quote that we had the other day? Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive. Because what the world needs is more people who've come alive. And entrepreneurship is one of those things that causes people to come alive, right? And the third reason I think everybody should try entrepreneurship is because of taxes, right? Uh, that is one of the fastest ways to lower your tax liability, and that's your biggest expense, right? So, but element number three of persistence is a justifiable sense of pride for using more of your full potential for success. Of course, this kind of pride is unrelated to the boastful arrogance often displayed by those who substitute words for actions. For you and your team members, pride in winning is evidenced by your quiet internal satisfaction and knowing that each of you has contributed to the best effort possible and that the resulting achievement is both significant and worthwhile. You can make $1 and a difference at the same time, people. Just so you know. You can make $1 and a difference at the same time. A lot of us will go to work to make $1, but we're not making a difference. And because we're not making a difference, we feel a way, but we can't put our finger on why we feel that way. I'm telling you right now why you feel that way. It's because what you're doing on your job, you don't see that as making a difference. You don't see that as making an impact. There's no fulfillment there. And where there is no fulfillment, especially if you're doing something totally unrelated to the gifts and talents that you possess. That's another discussion, right? The fourth element of persistence is a willingness to take appropriate risks in order to ensure the achievement of a goal. How many of you guys are willing to take some risks, right? Willing to be embarrassed? Entrepreneurship is such a foreign concept that most people are afraid to give it a try because they don't want to be embarrassed. We have this disease in our country, really around the world, because of our internal makeup. God created us to be interdependent, social beings. So while that is great for raising families and building community, one of the detriments of that is the fact that because we are created to be social and interdependent, we care too much about what other people think. See, when I start thinking different, that's risky for me because that means I can end up being ostracized from the community that I want to be accepted into. So a lot of times we don't do things that contradict what the masses are doing. Now, the powers that be understand this. They understand this. They understand that we all want to be socially accepted, right? So they created this proverbial box. And if you want to get outside of the box, the draw to be accepted by those in the box is so freaking strong that it's hard to pull yourself away from that. It's hard to pull yourself away. So we very rarely do anything that's contrary to what everybody else is doing because we want this sense of community. We want to feel like we're part of the community. And that's killing us, y'all. But you got to be willing to take risks. Step outside of that box, man, and do something different. Despite your best efforts to crystallize your thinking and develop a plan for success, it is not always possible to predict with surety the end result of a particular course of action. Willingness to take appropriate risk is evident by leaders and team members who apply imagination and ingenuity to devise new solutions to challenging problems. Are you willing to risk it all? When I coached basketball, I coached a team, and I think I coached those guys from about 6th grade all the way through to about 11th to 10th grade, I think. One of the things that I had them do before every game is the captain or one of the leaders on the team would ask the question, what does it take to win? And the team would respond, all it takes is all we got. And what I was trying to do with those kids is to instill the habit of giving everything you got at everything you do. And that helped them to understand that it is 100% okay to risk it all to attain a goal. Sometimes we're not willing to risk it all. In most cases, to attain significant goals, that's what it takes. A willingness to risk it all. Now, at the end of the day, most people will tell you that while I was willing to risk it all, I didn't have to give it all up in order to get the goal. But it's the willingness to risk it all is what gives them the edge to actually have it all. So I tell my team, and my leader would get in the huddle, and they would all huddle around, and he would say, what does it take to win? All it takes is all we got. What does it take to win? All it takes is all we got. What does it take to win? All it takes is all we got. I'm going to say that to you guys today. Whatever it is you're trying to win at in life, in business, in community, in your churches, in your families, on your jobs, in your careers, what does it take to win? All it takes is all you got. That's all. What does it take to win? Hey, man, all it's going to take for you to win is all you got. And when you're willing to put all you got on the line, it's hard for anybody or anything to hold you back or to stop you, right? Persistence becomes a habit of thought through the continuing practice of the attitudes and behaviors that lead to success. With enough repetition, the attitude of persistence becomes almost automatic. Those who have acquired a persistent attitude in this way seem never to think of giving up. Somehow, they automatically keep on going and going until the particular goal has been achieved. Are you ready to make persistence a habit? In the final analysis, persistence is born of crystallized thinking, built upon detailed plans for achievement of goals, backed by desire and confidence, and grounded in commitment. Wait, what? Let me read that one more time. Persistence is born of crystallized thinking, built upon detailed plans for achievement of goals, backed by desire and confidence, and grounded in commitment. You got to be committed to giving it all you got. Let's talk about courage real quick. Because y'all hear me often say it's the start that stops most people, right? Dr. Dennis Kimbrough is famous for saying that every one of us is given about four visions, 4 ideas, 4 downloads from our Creator every year. If we would just act on them, they'd make us millionaires. About 4. Some of us because if you're like me, my gift is imagination. I might get about 20 of those every year. I'll just act on them, about 20 of them every year that would make me a millionaire, right? But the average person gets about 4. But it's the start that stops most people. It's the fact that they can't see steps A through Z that stops them. They can see steps A, B, and C, but before they do step A, they want to see step Z. And that's not how it works. It's usually not how it works. So, courage to face yourself. Some leaders manage to find the courage to dream and imagine, but they lack the mental fortitude to face themselves. That is, to acknowledge their own weaknesses, draw on their own strengths, and analyze where they stand now in relation to where they want to go. Do you have the courage to face yourself? Do you have the courage to admit where you are right now so that the GPS can map a accurate plan to where you want to be? It's not the time to be lying to yourself, right? Talked a little bit earlier about Gary Vaynerchuk and self-awareness. It's not the time to be lying to yourself. Do you have the courage to face yourself? Man, I need help. Man, this ain't it. Man, this ain't what I thought it was going to be. Man, I'm strong here, but I'm weak as heck over here. Man, I'm struggling to get into the habit of journaling every day. Man, I'm struggling to get in the habit of writing my plan down for the day the night before. Are you willing to face yourself? The strengths and weaknesses you have developed at this point in your personal journey are completely unrelated to your worth as a human being or to your potential for highly effective leadership. Your assessment is information about past growth, not your future potential. I hope y'all heard that. Because we, in this fear to see ourselves and to look at ourselves, we're almost believing that if I look at myself and I don't like what I see, that means that's what I am. No, that just means that's what you were to this point. That's just what got you here. Right? It is information about past growth. That's all it is. Not your future potential. Hey, for 48 years and a couple months, this information has gotten me here. Question is, do you dream of becoming something different, someone different that can do more? Because if you can become more, you can do more. And if you can do more, you can have more. So you need courage to face yourself. You need courage to start. As you know, the basic law of physics states that a body at rest tends to remain at rest. This law is responsible for a simple leadership fact. The quality most crucial to attaining success for yourself and your organization is the courage to begin. What? Yeah, you got to have the courage to start. Circumstance will never drop dreams into your lap. The longer you sit back and wait, the more dynamite will be required to blast you and your organization into productive action. It's called inertia. It takes a whole lot to get something going. It takes a lot less effort to keep it moving. But when you understand this as a law, when you can help your team understand this, that, hey, all of our efforts, right? Think about a rocket going into outer space. NASA says that the rockets they launch into outer space expend 90% of their fuel getting out of the atmosphere. Right? But once they're out of the atmosphere, it takes hardly no energy for them to orbit the Earth. That's most of us. To get this business off the ground, to get this organization off the ground, to rebuild this marriage and this family, it's going to take a tremendous amount of inertia, that energy to get the thing moving, to get some momentum up. But once you have some momentum, it doesn't take much to keep it going, right? Overcoming inertia requires the greatest amount of energy and courage. Once you and your organization are in motion, another law of physics works in your favor. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. Sheer momentum will help you keep moving, right? Mark says, rocket fuel book. Yeah, understanding the the laws of physics and the universal truths in this world is what's missing in a lot of success, right? If you know that inertia is the biggest thing to overcome, then you prepare yourself, right? You prepare yourself to expend the greatest amount of energy at that stage in your business, in your growth, in your organization, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Courage to risk. Without risks, no leader can become truly great. Why? Because no real progress can be achieved, no new product created, and no new innovations championed without some degree of risk. And without courage, leaders take no risks. You gotta be willing to lay something on the line, willing to lose something in order to gain something, right? The source of leadership courage. How you respond to the challenge and decisions you face is not just a matter of your personal choice. It is the defining moment of your leadership experience. Any leader can retreat in fear. Only the most effective leaders can instinctively push forward with courage, conviction, and determination. The choice is yours to make. This is not to say that the choice is easy. For the effective leader, the courage to make the choice comes from deep within. Leaders who possess courage also possess qualities necessary to help themselves and their team members become more than they are. Among leaders, no choice is more difficult than deciding to act with courage and conviction. But once leaders push themselves to act courageously in a single area of life or in one aspect of their business role, it becomes progressively easier to act with courage in other areas and in other situations. Unfortunately, leaders must realize that no one can have courage for them. Effective leaders consciously choose courage as an option. If you are looking for an amazing read to help you in the area of leadership, I highly recommend The 5 Pillars of Leadership by Paul J. Meyer and Randy Slechta. It's a quick read, roughly 150 pages or so. It's just an amazing read, and I try to get through it at least once a year. My son read it last year as he was preparing to go out for the basketball team as a point guard. I told him that leadership is going to be the difference. You know, you can have the same skills as somebody else, but you develop in this area, and I promise you, you'll make yourself intrinsically more valuable than anybody else on the team. And he did that. And as a result, he ended up with a full scholarship this year. So super excited. So leadership is the principal thing in your life. You got to lead yourself first. Then if you have a family, you got to lead that family, and then find other places that you can lead in your communities, on your job, in your career. If you have a business, of course, you're leading in that. But understand, leadership is something that we all should be constantly trying to improve. Tomorrow, it is Free Game Fridays. We're talking more lead generation strategies for local small businesses. So come on back, hang out with your boy, man. I would really appreciate it. Until then, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.